like understand that book ownership and good book ownership really impacts kids' lives, then the book sales will come because we've got the best books to offer. So anyway, so that was the first thing we were going to talk about. The second thing is hearing from longtime leaders on how to be successful before Facebook parties came onto the scene. And then the third thing was how to help your downlines who are trying to promote again, maybe after they've exhausted resources of trying continually and they've burned through all of their, their networks. So let's just get started and start discussing. So what do you guys think about the, Kate has actually asked us to wait on the literacy topic. Kate's a reading specialist. So, and actually, Jamie, aren't you a reading specialist too?
No.
Okay. So
Steph, my party's slowing down. If you want to, we can talk about it right now.
Okay, great. So, so I personally feel like I'm at a loss. I would love to be more of an expert in reading and literacy, and not that I'm going to be an expert, and I'm not going to, be the equivalent of someone who has an advanced degree in reading. But I think it would help me and probably everybody else if we had a little bit more background about, I don't know, what works, what doesn't work. Go ahead. Kate, take it away. Yeah.
Well, I just started in my groups, or my VIP group, doing literally like this week, reading tip Tuesday. So I'm kind of focusing on like what parents have asked me in the past and like what I've talked about with parents at conferences, for parents whose kids are struggling in reading. So I've put, like through May, I've put them up in Visly so I can copy and paste and share those posts with you guys, and you're more than welcome to use them, in your VIP group or in your parties. The one I posted this past week was about like reading comprehension question stems that parents can ask their kids, especially with Common Core. The like depth that kids have to have for reading now, especially as they get into the upper grades, like 3rd, 4th, and 5th, is crazy. It's like stuff that I used to do in high school, like honors English, that they're literally doing in like 3rd and 4th and 5th grade now, like literary analysis. So it's really beneficial for like even when they first start reading, for parents to answer or ask them those questions and have like these deeper discussions. So that's kind of where I start. I do have some posts for younger kids, like for phonics and phonemic awareness stuff. But as I was thinking about like how to frame this, I was thinking maybe a training on like the 5 components of literacy. Oh, really, there's 6 if you include writing, but it would be phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, comprehension, and then writing. So we could frame, or we could do a training that way, and just kind of like maybe on a thread have different tips or like games or activities that people could do with their kids to work on strengthening those areas. The biggest thing I see as a reading specialist is like kids get pushed through the levels in the younger grades. I'm talking about Fontes and Pinnell mostly. That's what I work with. That's the A to Z levels, the alphabetical ones. And then they get to like 3rd and 4th grade and they have these giant holes that were never filled when they were in the younger grades. And then like pretty much by that time, things are moving so quickly and the ball is rolling so fast that they don't have time to really ever catch up. So that early literacy component is really a big one. So I don't know, just like tell me what you guys would want or what would help if you think if we did a training on like those 5 components of reading plus writing, if that would be helpful, or what you think would be helpful for you to use in your parties or your VIP groups.
Jackie?
I think it'd be super helpful training.
Okay.
Say
For sure. Like I had mentioned on one of the threads, one of the videos I really like to use in Facebook parties is the one by Eric Odie, who talks about the importance of having books with rhythm and rhyme. And so he uses some of his books. And so it's like a literacy tip and showing books at the same time. So I really like that combination.
Okay, yeah. And like you guys could help me with that too. Because I can definitely write like the literacy teacher side of it, but then if people can help me like grab books that go along with it too, because I know you guys could, I'm sure it pops into people's heads more than it would be mine, as I'm thinking more of like the technical side. So that would be a big help too if people could help with book suggestions too, because obviously
I think, oh, I'm sorry, are you done, Kate?
yes.
Okay. I am of the old school mentality, and I won't get into this piece yet until we move there, but I really believe we need to do more upselling and showing the very first reading set and emphasizing that, and showing collections and emphasizing those, and showing like bigger sets and more expensive things, rather than videos with all these random books, which are great. They need to see a variety. But when I did home parties, I went by the 5 ways to save, and one of those is collections, and that was something very big that I do in parties. So like very first reading set, when I promote it in parties, I sell it. When I don't promote it, I don't. Because that in and of itself is a phenomenal, I mean, all the literacy tools just within that product. So I've got some more old school ideas of how I think parties can be more successful sales wise. But that is something that I think, because millennials, I mean, literacy facts are great and all, but I mean, with technology the way it is, I feel like some people don't want to be thrown. I mean, the greens maybe, but I don't know. I just think that's one thing we can be adding more is upselling within our parties.
Yeah.
I also, and then when it's time, I'll talk about before there were Facebook parties, because I think there's some things we've gotten away from that because we've just been relying on Facebook parties, which by
Right.
nature, there's certain things that are avoided.
Well, that makes a good point. So, like, when I'm talking about sort of selling the idea of literacy, it, yes, could be in Facebook parties, but I think more importantly, needs to be part of, like, our vernacular. Instead of just constantly talking about, oh, this book is great, look how the cute, pretty illustrations, and oh, great, it's only $5. Like when we're talking to people and in our VIP groups. So it's just really part of our vernacular where we are, yes, we're book ladies, and yes, we have amazing books to offer, but more importantly, we're literacy experts, and we can help, bridge the gap for you. And oh, by the way, here's some really great recommendations. And then I think I actually really like that idea. And Katie, I had Jen Tyson let me borrow some post about the very first reading library, or whatever, first reading library, which is an $80 set, right? And I had never put it in a single party. Literally the second party that I put it in, I sold one. So, and I hadn't gotten an $80 order, and plus she ordered some things on top of that. So what I think would be along that lines, that set's really good for people who, like, that's an upsell for kids who don't know how to read, or who are just starting to read. But we need to think of other upsell items for every age group. Like you were saying, collections. So I would love to strategically, like, go through, like, I don't have older kids. I have someone who is starting to read. I have a first grader. So we're constantly talking about reading. And maybe it's different in fifth grade. Maybe, I don't know, do you still talk about reading?
Well, yeah, but like, so for a kid who likes nonfiction, who's older, well, then we want to recommend the encyclopedia collection. Like, he needs all the encyclopedias. And about the, when you were saying going back to the why and the 5 circles, and it's, we need to be selling what our books are going to do for them. So, like you said, it's not which book should I get, it's what are the books going to do for them. And it's like selling anything. A car salesman's not going to say, well, this is a red Ford sedan, and this is it's like, what does it have that's different from? And I think sometimes because our books are so phenomenal, we rely on the fact that they can, quote, sell themselves, but people can already see what the book is. So going back to Stephanie, I think it really is important to make ourselves experts on what are these books. So what is Dan the Taxi Man going to do for your child while rhyming? Or what is the reading set? Or what is the encyclopedia internet linked? Well, internet linked is that I can then add computer, if a child likes to go on the web, I'm going to read, but then they can go on and get some additional resources from the web. So just finding what the books, how they're going to differ from other books, but then what they're going to do for them versus what the books are. And most of our Facebook videos are what they are. This is a baby, that's not my book. It's touchy-feely. Great. What is that going to do for our baby? The texture, all of that, the repetition. So yeah, I think you make a good point, Stephanie.
So, I mean, I personally, this group is really a force to be reckoned with. And so I would love for every time we come out of this meeting, we have some very clear action items that each one of us is willing to contribute. So like when you were saying that, Katie, about the videos, like maybe we could divide up videos, and there's already a pretty good first reading library out there video, and maybe somebody else has another one. But maybe we could each go around and talk about, like, I don't know, while we're talking, if you think of something that you might be willing to offer up, and maybe it's a video script so that each one of us could like do our own videos as an expert, because we all know that if you do your own videos, people can connect with you more, and the more they connect with you, the more they're willing to purchase with you, and be longtime loyal customers. So maybe that's I don't know. Is that an idea? Like a video script, would that be helpful to people? It would be helpful to me. I feel like I'm always like stumbling over my words.
That's a great idea.
I think it would be helpful. I do think I want to go back to what Kate was saying. I do agree with Katie that maybe we have to be careful how we present literacy information to people, because it may be too much and they may not care, especially, I'm 32, but somebody who's 22, 23, they might not care that much. But I loved your post in the leaders group, and I really think that we need to sell the idea that their kids are going to have a better life because of our books, like hands down. And we don't have to give them a million facts behind that, but we are selling them success and a happy life. And it sounds kind of silly, but if they can really believe that, then they're going to be on board with buying 5 or 6 or 7 books a couple times a year.
Or more frequently.
I don't know exactly how
I want to make these books consumables so that we have like constant repeat customers. Just like, Carrie Woodward and I were talking the other day, and she was like, well, when I run out of my Tastefully Simple bacon, whatever, I just call up my lady and I get it when I need it. So I want it, like, I think it'd be awesome if we could, for society, not just our own, bank accounts, but for society, I think it'd be awesome if we could like start a movement. There's like 25,000 of us nationwide. If we could start a movement where people like realize, oh, we should constantly be feeding our kids new books, just like we feed them. I'm going to try this. I'll try kale this week. Let's see if my kids like kale. Oh no, they're still only into carrots. So let's try new things.
I do think Kate's idea though is a good one, because I still think that would be building upon our skill as a book lady. So
right.
I don't want you to just think that was a, not good idea. I think that would be a good training for our team, and it would help us brainstorm further on how to cleverly promote that in our business.
And I agree. I
actually got the idea from Sarah, just from Sarah Duke's banner for her VIP group, where she'll put on her page for people to join, because it says literacy tips, and I'm like, oh my God, why have I not been using it? Because like if people see you as an expert, even if you're not, but if you're giving them that help, a lot of kids are struggling with reading, especially as they get older. And so if you have that component to your business, I think that's going to keep people coming back to you too, as opposed to someone who just sells them books,
Well,
yeah, like
also,
they'll trust
like
you.
If you are constantly building in to your VIP group, like you are a trusted source because you're constantly giving them links to things. So they don't have to go and search elsewhere. They can just go to your VIP group and you're going to link them to some Harvard review. Or you're going to link them to some whatever else. Plus you're going to throw in some fun graphics and giveaways too. And here's some great books that would, meet this need. But, it's like one-stop shopping for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think part of having this movement, if we have 25,000 consultants, it's how many of us are taking it outside of our VIP groups. And for example, I have books, I have wipe clean sticker books, and I have a stack of books I keep in the car. I can't tell you how many times a child has been crying at a swim lesson waiting for a sibling, and I go get a book and a wipe clean book, and I say, here, feel free to have, and I am constantly soliciting with the actual books all around, because there are people, they may have their tablet and their tablet's died, or they may see that I've got a stack of books there that I'm just kind of, looking at the catalog and giving one to my child. So it's like if 25,000 of us were doing this outside of just our own groups and our own Facebook parties, but we're really absolutely like promoting books to people that people that support literacy go to the library and do that. They're going to support you. We need to get the people that don't understand the value of literacy, and those are the people that aren't reading the books typically. So that's another piece, is just how are we incorporating this off the web? Because I think we've gotten in a big, and this goes back to being old-fashioned, but we've gotten into a big reliability on Facebook and on the internet as being our business, when our business is also like our day-to-day out and about, almost more so, I would say, and not more so, but you're not competing with anybody else where you are on the web. It's just you making this relationship with someone. So I don't know. I just think that's very important too, is that, not that, I don't know. I think doing it on our VIP page, but also really there's a way to make a huge impact in the community just out and about with people seeing our books.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I was going to say is that when Kate was talking about, doing a training and, just kind of focusing on literacy, I think it will also help out some consultants, because yes, there are 25,000 of us, but, and the majority, to find out literacy facts or different things, we're all just kind of self-teaching ourselves, or we're looking things up, or maybe you have a background in it, maybe you were a teacher, but a lot of people don't. So a lot of people don't know how to work it into their parties or their conversations, or they're not comfortable going into a school to talk to, a principal or a librarian, because they don't feel that they know. Right. I think there used to be more of a focus on that. There used to be, more of a focus, I think, in the training just on what types of books, for kids, autistic children or different things like that. And what just different literacy, helping the consultants understand, what literacy can do. Because I'm sure that not everybody does, I'm sure that everybody, they like the books, but maybe they don't understand, or they don't have any facts or knowledge of it themselves that they can use, and it's not leading them to be confident with it.
I think, to jump on what Jamie's saying and also what Katie said, I think the training would be good for everyone to do those reach outs, in-person things. I do a lot of story times, and I know I'm always trying to give information facts along with the story times as I'm doing it to build those relationships. I think that would help other people do it in another venue other than just the Facebook parties, the home parties, get them out there. More tips would be great. And I'm looking at on my desktop, we have some graphics about speech therapy and how our titles are useful there. I think some updating on those and sharing information on the ways our books can help therapy students, special needs students and stuff would also be helpful in that same arena.
Right. Well, and the good news, like back to Katie, what you were saying about, Facebook is not our only business. We are competing for attention from, I don't even know how many hundreds of other direct sales companies on Facebook, on the Facebook platform. But to my knowledge, there's only one other company who's direct sales for books, and that's Barefoot Books. So the good news is we're better. And so if we are out and about, and we don't just have books, we also have Cards for a Cause. We also have all of these other things that other direct sales companies don't have, that are part of our, arsenal of revenue streams. But again, and we're not only on Facebook, like this is just another area where we can really dominate.
Yeah. Can I talk a little bit about old school, if
Sure.
that's okay? I don't know how long I can, I'm going to be on here, but, before the Facebook parties, I was with Usborne maybe 2 years before Facebook parties, maybe a year and a half before Facebook parties. Krista Marks did one of the first ones before it ever started. And my whole business was home parties. I mean, I was like home parties galore with a few booths. And I'll tell you what happens is I really still am a huge advocate and believe strongly in Facebook parties because with home parties, because with the home party, I found that my sales were religiously higher because you were able to build a relationship with the person and upsell them right there. We are relying on our hostesses to be doing that for Facebook parties because for home parties, we're just telling people, get people to your house and we'll do the rest. Facebook parties, they can get someone to the event, but that doesn't mean the person's going to purchase anything. And it's very hard to build that relationship. And with millennials, they want to have fun. Like it's about fun. And yes, the Facebook parties can be fun, but I really believe going back at times, I feel like it's great. This Facebook party success is phenomenal, but I really feel like there are a lot of people having a lot of Facebook parties that are like 200, 250, 300. And I can do one home party and have it be a $500 to $600 home party because you can upsell more. No one's buying just the one book. I can't believe how many people spend $6 to buy 2 books. I mean, it boggles my mind.
And shipping, yeah.
You don't see that for some reason. People, whether they're embarrassed or whether they, because once they see them, they're just so. I guess I would say the relationship piece of it is so I feel like important because I was building those relationships and recruiting those people, but you don't have that relationship building on the web. And I think that can be, you can try to, but if you're not having phone calls with your hostess and you're not regularly having contact, we can tend to kind of rely on it's just going to happen. And when we're not building that relationship and she's not motivated, where she doesn't want to let you down by you coming to her house and there are only 2 people there. Like Facebook, there's not as much stock in it. So I don't know. I just think.
I'm curious. I mean, I feel like I was raised in the Facebook world. I've had a couple home parties. I've had a few, but they're really hard for me to get. How do you still get home parties?
Well, so I have actually found it's interesting. I've been promoting now Facebook parties, and I cannot tell you, I just in the last maybe month had 2 different people say, well, do you do in-home too? And I'm like, oh, absolutely. I feel like they're starting to come around, but the way I do is, number one, I say private events. I don't use the term home party. I never have. I don't do home parties. I do private events. And I'll sometimes say private literacy events. And when I reach out, I just say, I bring some catalogs. It's not a timeshare thing. I just bring catalogs. We shop for books. You have some wine. I do a lot of reading between the wines. I emphasize the fun, the girls' night out. But I always ask for that because I'm finding more and more, I feel like people are so sick of Facebook parties now. It used to be that everybody was doing home parties. So Facebook parties was this new, awesome, exciting. Now I feel like people are so sick of getting invites for every Facebook party under the sun. Now with LuLaRoe and all of them, that it's a new thing again for someone to be like, oh, why don't we do a girls' night in and people shop? Or you can join it with a lady 31 and do pamper yourself while you shop for your kid. But I think people are more into now the fun and getting together than because they're getting more sick of this inundated with all these Facebook things. That's just my opinion.
Something that I would say is that I also think a lot of new consultants, who have come in the past, whatever, since this Facebook era, they're not actually offering home parties or they don't want to do home parties. Yep. I mean, I don't think they realize what it can do for them and also what it could do for their sales and just how they just, they look at it as something that, oh, I have to spend more time doing that. Or they won't even, offer it, which I think is a big problem that they're when I tell my new people, well, you're going to need to do a Facebook party and when's your home party? They're like, what? Oh, I only want to do Facebook parties. So I think a lot of people come into it thinking, I'm only doing Facebook parties.
Well,
you
you're
know,
exactly right, Jamie. And I think how about, I mean, I am starting to emphasize my new people an in-home launch. And then, by the way, those people that can't make it, we can do a Facebook party. Because if you emphasize the Facebook party, that becomes the focus. And then maybe they'll consider having an in-home. People can learn how to do Facebook. If they don't learn to do a home party, they're never going to. It's far scarier. So if you can get them to do an in-home launch, they've already done that, then that's kind of, and so you're right, Jamie. I think you're absolutely right that we're promoting these Facebook launches because they can do it that night. I mean, I do believe like it's great as far as time, but we need to be emphasizing like the home party side of it as well, and maybe not calling it a home party. Sometimes that has a bad rap, but I want you to find, get a group of your friends together, and we'll do a fun ladies' night out with literacy.
Or like a mom's night out or something like that. And I think they're missing out on a lot of sales, because my home parties have always done, and I don't do them as much anymore because it was the whole Facebook era, but they've always sold more than Facebook by far.
And recruiting. I feel like recruiting was...
Or getting a fundraiser or anything, because you're there talking to them.
Yeah. I bring cards to every home party. I bring cards for a cause, and I talk about them. I start with that, actually. And then building relationships, recruiting seemed to be so much easier, at least for me, so much easier at home parties, so much easier than online, where you cannot see these people and you don't know, and they're excited, and then they hang up. Whereas there, it's like you really can get a feel of, where things are at. So I just really think in my old-fashioned, with my direct recruits and my central group recruits, not even if they're direct recruits, I very much push home parties.
So how do you get them to not like freak out about it? Like they're brand new. A lot of them are like, okay, well, I can hide behind Facebook and just type it out, and if I mess up, oh well. So how do you get them to like stay calm about trying to do their launch as a home?
So I do, number one, if they're local, I do the in-home launch for them. Even if it's an hour away, I'll go do it. But number two, I will walk through, like I had a new girl just did a launch yesterday in-home. I walked through with her last week, and you can do it on Zoom, but I literally walked through with her what she wants to do. And I tell them to go by the 5 ways to save on page 3 of the catalog and literally use that as their script. It tells them each of the areas: collection, combined volumes, recruiting, having a party, and literally that can be what they go by. I just coach them on, the books will sell themselves. You have people pick books that they like before they sit down, and then they talk about the books, and then you look at that page and you go to the next thing. So I guess the point is really coaching them before, we can even role play or whatever, but really, if they feel comfortable enough, it's going to be because you have really helped them feel comfortable. And there is a video. I did a home party video that's on the old link drive or whatever. But I think it's really a matter of like, that's kind of what
So as we're talking, I'm just thinking about like, what could a takeaway be? In March, I wonder if we could do a challenge, a private event challenge versus just a Facebook party. Like, because this would be like a direct link to the need for higher sales, and everybody's like, what's old is new again,
Because all of our challenges our booking blitzes are mostly, people just think Facebook party.
Right.
And sometimes people will book a home party. They're like, oh, one's a home party. They don't actually go for it thinking they want parties.
You're right. And we're losing the grandma parties for the most part, because they don't do the Facebook parties. And if they do, it's a nightmare. Like, I have yet to have a good grandma on a Facebook that understands what she's doing. But we're losing the grandma parties. You have a hard time promoting the cards for I think you're right, Jamie. Like, there's a piece of the business that I think we are sometimes missing. And you're absolutely correct when you say everybody that's coming in new, like most new people, they have never done a home party in their life, and they don't even know the foggiest idea, and they could be here 18 months. So yeah, I think a home party challenge would be awesome.
Like if Mafia Wide did this, we could be like laying the gauntlet for everybody else. Jumps.
Like Camille
would you like to
does them
say
too.
challenge?
Yeah, challenge.
I've had a great string of home parties. I had like 8 home parties in a row. It's all girls in their 20s. I call them my drinking ladies because they book a home party once a month. There's like 8 girlfriends, and then the mom wants to get in on the action, and then her and her girlfriends, and they're part of the community trust, and they want to do a CFAC with the community trust in their little town. And this is like 30 minutes from me tops. And they always plan a secondary part to the home party because this is their mom's night out, and it is a riot because I don't really do Facebook parties.
I remember Camille said like she would do some themes. Like I think one year she said she wanted a chocolate fountain from like an HO2 or HOC2 challenge, and she would take it, say, I'm doing chocolate parties. I'll come and set it up, clean it up, invite your friends. You know, whatever. It was a chocolate book party, you know, but she did all the work. So she actually brought it, which was funny. You know, you have a UBAM. I don't know if it was branded, but whatever.
I'm sure
you
it
know,
was.
I'm sure it was.
Face on it. Hey,
that's the key. That really is the key. Is like I throw out probably 5 to 10 different themes when I'm asking somebody, and without fail, one of them they'll be like, "Oh, that would be fun." Like, you know, it's not just, oh, do you want to do a home party? I'm like, we could do margarita madness, mimosa and mocha, Saturday morning.
Books and bunko? How about books and bunko?
You know, and it's just like, without fail, someone's like, oh, yeah, like sweet treats and good reads. Let's just have chocolate, like all kinds. And they're like, oh, that would be fun.
And I think we need to start training, you know, our new people, like when we're just talking about, you know, obviously creating, you know, a culture of higher sales and promotions and all of this. I think we need to let them know Facebook isn't the end all be all of everything. And we need to be training them, you know, as this is what we're going to do. You're going to try, you know, the home party challenge. We should definitely try to get all the new people in on that, not just us, you know, who are trying to build it big, but just to get them to kind of look at something different and do it that way too.
Yeah. Okay, so that sounds good. Okay, so how would we? Does everybody just shake your head if you think that this home party challenge would be good for us?
I think so. Yeah.
Make it like a Polaroid picture. Okay, so we're approaching 8:50. So, what are some next steps we could do to make that happen?
For what? The home party challenge?
Yeah.
Or
Like what do you think we would need to do that? Like some ideas, obviously, right?
a good graphic, obviously.
Yeah.
I have one. Okay. I have a home party graphic.
Like a list of all those themes and links that people could access.
Say it again, Jamie.
A list of all those themes that people could choose.
Yeah, that's true. Because I think people are kind of at a loss as what could I do?
Stephanie,
There's a list somewhere. There is an old list somewhere.
Well, yeah, I have a home party training from a regional I did that I can just post. It's a PowerPoint.
Okay.
But it's got a sheet that's got themes on it. So I'll dig it up. If you want, I can put either the whole thing there, or I can just do the themes. But I can dig that up somehow.
Mm-hmm. Well, because I think if we had I think a lot of times people will be like, "Ooh, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to participate in this challenge because I don't know how to do a home party." So I actually think maybe a couple of home party training, like just post some links to videos, will be like, it doesn't need to be a full training. Like we don't need to make this more complicated. But
yeah, what I will do is my part in this is I will solidify all the home party resources, not all of them, but a lot I can find, and I will put that together.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a lot of videos. Sometimes people would record live, you know, in their parties. They'd record their actual party.
Exactly. I know Shauna Zollinger has one, but it's really long.
Well, so for people who want videos, I'll put some videos. For people who want visual things, I can put my presentation in, like a visual of themes or whatever. Like, so we're kind of touching on people, because I don't like watching long videos, and I won't, but I will absolutely read stuff. So.
And also on the new Google Drive that should be rolling out this week, there is a home party folder that has a home party how-to document in it, which is kind of broken down into what can you talk about, what do you do? Here's one game, you know, focus on literacy. And then how, you know, you talk about it, or you get the books, you know, how you hand out the books to people and get people to tell you a little bit about their books, or, you know, whatever that they grabbed. So it's kind of a step-by-step document if someone wants to just read through too.
Well, and I wonder if we should just, I don't want to muck up the drive, but hi Camille, but wouldn't it be nice if we could just have all of those, like, so that we could start, that would be a great way to start directing people to that drive, like move traffic to the drive by saying, hey, we're doing this home party challenge, and here's where you can find some great resources. I mean,
yeah, no, definitely. We don't have to post it. We could post a link so then we get familiar with it too.
Make them go find it. Yeah.
Camille, we're talking about having a Mafia-wide home party challenge and bringing back the home party. Since we feel like new people aren't really like being trained in home parties or thinking that they even want to do a home party, or they're only going to do Facebook parties. And so we kind of need to, what's old is new.
Facebook party where the host didn't even show up. So I'm done with Facebook parties. Not totally done with them.
Home party, for people who have never done home parties are so much tighter and neater and cleaner, and you don't have to tally points.
And fun.
And I hand out a book right there, and I drink a wine. Okay, I drink at my home parties. I bring the wine.
No one's surprised.
Home party with me, I bring the wine.
That doesn't surprise me.
Camille, I brought up your chocolate fondue party that I feel like I heard somewhere. I don't even know if you told me or if it was on a training. You brought like your chocolate fountain. And you're like, I'll do the cleanup.
This was probably 2-3 years ago. I don't know. At some point, Home Office, one of the Home Office Challenge 2, I think, was a chocolate fountain.
Was it branded with Randall's face?
No.
We thought it might be.
But it's the idea. Like I do this at different like months or whatever, where I will, and I have a fondue pot too, but so I vary it. But I tell them I will bring the chocolate fountain or the chocolate fondue. They supply all the chocolate and the cut up ingredients and stuff. And I supply the fountain or the fondue pot. They love it.
That's fun. I mean, really, you can get one of those cheap, even if you wanted to go somewhere and get one and, you know.
How long does setup take for one of those bad boys, Camille?
The fondue?
Yeah, like the chocolate fountain. How long does it take for it to melt? To get going?
Oh, like minutes.
Oh, okay. So you're not adding I
had one hostess where the chocolate was like, she totally, you know, overcooked the chocolate or whatever. So that one took a little longer. But most of the time, you know, like I show up at a home party 15, 20 minutes ahead of time. And if for the chocolate fountain, it's like you can throw that together in 5 minutes.
While you're setting up your books.
Well,
right.
And I bring, when I go to those and doing like a chocolate or something party, I'll bring gift bags for those people who, Camille, sorry, I'll bring gift bags to those people who want to book a party. And in there, I put drink mix, non-alcoholic drink mix, and I put a box of brownie mix or chocolate chip bar mix, and I tell them, here's your party. Like, this is
that's an oldie but a goodie. I remember being trained on stuff like that too, because my very first launch party, that's what I did. I'm like, who wants a party? You're not going to know what's in this bag unless you book a party. And then, you know, it's just fun and cheap.
And I tell them that's all they need to have. They don't need, they don't need to have.
Parties are so much, home parties are so much more certain for sales, you know, like, I mean, you guys may have already said that, but Facebook parties, my Facebook parties the last couple of months have been more hit than miss, or more miss than hit.
And here's what's happening with our growth is people are not only going to your Facebook Usborne party, they're now being invited. So when we first had them, it was the only one. If you think about LuLaRoe, there's so many LuLaRoe parties that when you go to one, you'll maybe buy a couple leggings, but then you'll go to another one.
They just party hop. And I found people that do that too. Exactly. Oh, I went to so-and-so's. Now I'm at yours, you know.
Whereas, so they're buying only a couple things because they just went to one 4 months ago and bought some other stuff. So it's like the home parties, you know, that's another thing I think is happening is when it was new, it was new. And now it's like so many people are spending, like I said, like $30 and paying the $6 because they just went to a Usborne party. And the home parties, I don't think people as much are going to that. I'm not running into the home parties as much at all.
Okay, so we've got 3 minutes left.
There's a lot of people not on Facebook.
Right. We've got 3 minutes left. And those are the non-millennials, actually, because I think I'm having my first millennial party on Tuesday. And I don't know what to do with all these pictures of half-naked women who are in their profile pictures. I'm like, who are these? I guess they're book lovers. I don't know. Book lovers have boobs, too. I mean.
In bikinis.
Anyway.
I think we all have boobs. They just show that.
Quote for the night. Book lovers have boobs, too. If you take nothing else
Books and
away,
boobs. Books and boobs, Stephanie. Books and boobs.
Put that one in the theme.
Books, beer, and boobs.
That was my weekend at Baby Palooza. Boobs and baby.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got now 2 minutes left. So Katie has offered to put together some stuff. Yeah, and you're going to drop it in the drive, Katie.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay.
I will put it together. I will give it to Carrie Woodward or someone, but I will.
No.
Carrie, look.
You could give it to me. Give it to me. I'll put it in there.
You're in charge of then teaching Katie how to fish.
I will solidify and put together various home party resources into a succinct place, like a Word document, something. It may not be super pretty, but it'll be a lot of information. And then if you can publicize it.
Yeah, I'll put it in there. And then I think we should start, once we get the okay, once the Google Drive is all set, then we can start referring to it like, this is where you go for the home party information. So they're more familiar with, finding the information. But if you send it to me, I'll put it in there.
Okay, so you're like a super creative person, and you clearly you're already like, you have some little niche markets that you're working. So I think it'd be great if you would make a list of different kinds of people you could reach out to. It's just a list. Is that easy enough to do?
Yes.
Because I think that would be helpful. Because for me, I'm thinking personally, I'm like, okay, who am I going to reach out to? Because I'm still kind of new in my city, so I don't really know a lot of people.
These are people that they have a party once a month. Is that what you said?
It's a group of, there's random stuff on my screen. It's a totally random stranger I met at a home party I did 3 years ago, who I now go to some other town, several towns away, and go from house to house. Like every month I'm like, I'm on Main Street this week. And then the next month they're like, now Deborah on 6th Street wants a party. And then Amy on 7th Street.
So they like party swap, so they can get free books, but they're all getting together and having a little girls' night.
But they keep adding new people, but they definitely are doing it as a mom's night out. I call them my drinking ladies because they're hard drinkers. They start before I get there, and then they shop and invite more neighbors.
Perfect. That's perfect.
I set up
beforehand.
Yeah.
Well, I did a book party. I've done a couple app book clubs. So they're already getting together to read their book together. And I'm setting up the children's books so that they're doing their book club, but they're also shopping for books for their kids.
For their own kids' book club?
No, it's a book club, like a ladies' wine and book club, and they're reading a book and talking about the chapter.
So I have a friend who said she's in a couple of different book clubs herself, but she has established a book club for her daughter who's in 2nd grade. And she's done this for 3 years in a row. So that would be a really cool thing. Like, we're talking about promoting different things, like how do we upsell? Like, and then, of course, you're going to get the book club gift, the book club book, because this month's book club book is going to be whatever for the kids, right? So that's a good idea.
The very first reading set, that's going to be your book club. Everyone buy it.
Okay, and then what other things do we need in order to launch this home party challenge? We need to make it funny. Like, I think people like things that are funny.
A prize, I'm sure.
A prize, like a silly prize.
Like Jen Tyson's husband's going to go as Olaf.
But, like, it could be a silly prize, like you get, like, what's
a chocolate fountain from Amazon.
What'd you say?
I said a chocolate fountain from Amazon.
Oh,
I like that.
Take to your home parties.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
That's funny. Camille's like, I already have one. I don't need to win this challenge.
I need 2.
Who doesn't? We all need 2. Julian, chocolate fountains.
What other things do
we have to figure out are like the parameters. So are we saying that, is this like in March, or are we saying for
No.
April?
I think it's April.
We're doing